Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to explore one of the most iconic coins in American history, the United States Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin, commonly known as the penny. First introduced in 1959, this coin features the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the front, honoring his legacy as one of America's greatest leaders. On the reverse side, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of unity and strength. Although it may seem like just a small coin, the Lincoln penny holds great historical value and is collected by people all around the world. Some rare versions of this coin can even be worth far more than 1 cent. So stay with us as we uncover the history, design, and hidden value of this fascinating coin. The next up, top 2, the 1973 United States 1-cent coin, often called the Lincoln penny, may look like an ordinary piece of pocket change, but hidden within its simple copper surface is a story that has fascinated collectors for decades. At first glance, a worn and circulated 1973 D penny might seem insignificant, something easily overlooked or even discarded. Yet for those who understand the world of rare coins, even a humble penny can hold surprising value and historical importance. 1973, millions of pennies were produced at the Denver Mint, marked with the small D mint mark beneath the date. These coins were made primarily of copper, giving them their classic reddish-brown appearance. Over time, circulation causes wear, dulling the shine and softening the details of Abraham Lincoln's portrait. While most of these coins remain common today, certain rare variations and exceptional conditions can transform an ordinary coin into something far more valuable. The idea that a 1973 D penny could be worth millions overnight is exciting, but it is important to understand the reality behind coin values. In general circulation, worn examples of this coin typically carry only modest value, often just a few cents above face value. However, the true magic lies in rare errors, unusual minting flaws, or coins preserved in near-perfect condition. These are the pieces that collectors actively hunt for. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1973 penny is the possibility of mint errors. During the minting process, mistakes can occur, such as double strikes, off-center designs, or die cracks. These errors are not common, but when they do appear, they can significantly increase a coin's value. A well-documented error coin from this year could fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on its uniqueness and condition. Another factor that drives value is the coin's condition, often graded on a scale from heavily worn to mint state. A circulated and worn 1973 D penny like the one described typically shows flat details and surface marks. While this reduces its value in most cases, collectors still appreciate coins with clear dates, visible mint marks, and original copper surfaces. Even a worn coin can have charm and historical appeal. There's also the concept of red-brown, and brown classifications for copper coins. A coin that retains its original bright red color is far more valuable than one that has darkened over time. Unfortunately, most circulated coins fall into the brown category, but if your 1973 D penny still shows hints of its original luster, it may be worth a closer look. The fascination with Lincoln pennies comes largely from their long history. First introduced in 1909, they were the first U.S. coins to feature a real person. By 1973, the design had already become iconic, with Lincoln's profile on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Holding such a coin connects you to decades of American history, making it more than just currency. Stories about pennies worth millions often come from extremely rare cases, such as experimental metal compositions or unique minting errors. While no widely recognized 1973 D penny has reached such extreme values, the possibility of discovering an unusual specimen keeps collectors searching through rolls of coins and old collections. The dream of a life-changing discovery is part of what makes coin collecting so exciting. It's important to approach these claims with a balanced perspective. Not every old coin is a hidden treasure, and most 1973 pennies will not make anyone a billionaire overnight. However, that does not mean they are worthless. Their real value lies in their collectability, history, and the thrill of the hunt for something rare. If you own a 1973 D penny, especially one with unusual features, it is worth examining carefully. Look for doubling in the letters or numbers, unusual coloration, or misaligned designs. These small details can sometimes reveal something special. Even experienced collectors take time to inspect coins under magnification to catch subtle differences. Another key point is authenticity and preservation. Cleaning a coin can actually reduce its value, as collectors prefer coins in their natural state. If you believe your coin might be special, it is best to keep it Arabic meme, Arabic het, Arabic fa, Arabic wow, Arabic thought safe, and consider professional evaluation. Proper storage can protect it from further wear and environmental damage. The market for coins is driven by demand, rarity, and condition. A A common coin in poor condition will always remain affordable, while a rare error or high-grade example can command impressive prices. Understanding this balance helps separate myths from reality while still appreciating the excitement behind coin collecting. Ultimately, the 1973 D penny represents more than just its monetary worth. It is a piece of everyday history, a reminder of a time when copper coins passed through countless hands, carrying stories with them. Whether worth a few cents or much more, each coin has its own journey. So while the dream of finding $1 million penny is thrilling, the true reward lies in knowledge, curiosity, and the joy of discovery. Keep your eyes open, examine your coins closely, and remember, sometimes the smallest Arabic Alif, Arabic Lam, Arabic Hamza, Tatalif, Arabic Sheen, Arabic Yet, Arabic Alif, Arabic Hamza, things can hold the greatest fascination, even if not always the greatest fortune. The next up, top 3, the 1983 Lincoln Memorial Penny, is one of those coins that often sparks excitement, curiosity, and sometimes wild claims about hidden fortunes. At first glance, it looks completely ordinary, just another small copper-colored coin that has passed through countless hands. But beneath that simple appearance lies an interesting story tied to one of the most important transitions in modern U.S. coinage history. To understand why the 1983 penny attracts so much attention, you need to go back just 1 year earlier. In 1982, the United States Mint made a major change in the composition of the 1-cent coin. Rising copper prices had made it too expensive to produce pennies primarily from copper, so the mint switched to a zinc core with a thin copper plating. By 1983, almost all pennies were made using this new zinc-based composition. These coins contain about 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper on the surface. This change is crucial because it means that a true copper 1983 penny is not supposed to exist under normal circumstances. And that's where the mystery and the excitement begins. A small number of 1983 pennies have been reported that appear to be made of solid copper, similar to pre-1982 coins. These are believed to be rare transitional errors, possibly struck using leftover copper planchets from the previous year. If such a coin is genuine, it becomes extremely valuable, not because every 1983 penny is rare, but because this specific mistake is incredibly unusual. In the world of coin collecting, rarity driven by mint errors is what creates real value. However, it's important to separate fact from exaggeration. A circulated and worn 1983 D penny, the type most people have, is generally worth only its face value or slightly more. Even in good condition, it might only be worth a few cents to a collector. The D mint mark indicates that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint. Millions upon millions of 1983 D pennies were made, so in normal circumstances they are extremely common and not valuable. But collectors are always searching for something unusual. One key detail they look for is weight. A standard zinc 1983 penny weighs about 2.5 grams. A copper version, however, weighs about 3.1 grams. This difference is often the first clue that a coin might be something special. Another feature people examine is the edge and color. While both types appear copper-colored, the tone and wear patterns can differ slightly. Experienced collectors often use magnification and precise scales to verify authenticity. Stories about these coins being worth millions of dollars are often exaggerated. While rare error coins can indeed sell for thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars, reaching millions is extremely unlikely for a 1983 penny. That said, there have been real cases where rare pennies sold for significant amounts. These sales are usually tied to certified error coins in verified condition, often graded by professional services. The idea that such a coin could instantly make someone a billionaire overnight is more fantasy than reality. Coin collecting is a field grounded in careful study, authentication, and realistic market values, not sudden miracles. Still, the dream keeps people searching. Every time someone finds an old jar of coins, there's a small spark of hope that something rare might be hidden inside. That hope is part of what makes coin collecting so engaging. The Lincoln Memorial design itself, used from 1959 to 2008, carries historical significance. It features Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, symbolizing American heritage and continuity. By 1983, this design had already been in use for over 2 decades. The transition in metal composition didn't change the design, but it added a new layer of interest for collectors. Coins that exist at the intersection of change, like the 1983 penny, are often the most intriguing. They represent a moment when old and new overlap, sometimes producing unexpected results. For someone holding a 1983 penny today, the first step is simple. Don't assume it's rare, but don't ignore it either. Check its weight carefully using a precise digital scale. If it weighs around 2.5 grams, it is the standard zinc version. If it weighs closer to 3.1 grams, then it might be worth further investigation. Authentication is essential. Many coins that people believe are rare turn out to be normal after professional examination. This is why serious collectors rely on grading services. Condition also matters greatly. A heavily worn coin, even if rare, may not command as high a price as one in better condition. However, rarity can still make even worn coins valuable. Circulated coins show signs of use, scratches, fatting, and general wear. These factors reduce value in common coins but are less damaging in truly rare error coins. The market for coins is driven by collectors, not myths. Prices depend on demand, rarity, and verified authenticity, not viral stories or exaggerated claims. It's also worth noting that counterfeit coins exist. Some people attempt to alter coins to make them appear rare. This is another reason why professional verification is critical. The fascination with the 1983 penny continues because it combines accessibility with mystery. Almost anyone can find one, but only a few might find something extraordinary. Even though most 1983 pennies are common, the possibility of a rare variation keeps collectors interested. It's a reminder that even everyday objects can hold surprises. Coin collecting is as much about knowledge as it is about luck. The more you understand about minting processes, errors, and history, the better your chances of pahichan anus something valuable. The transition from copper to zinc also reflects broader economic realities. Rising metal costs forced the mint to adapt, showing how even small coins are influenced by global markets. This makes the 1983 penny not just a collectible but a piece of economic history. It tells a story about change, adaptation, and the balance between tradition and practicality. Many collectors specialize in error coins because they are unpredictable and unique. Unlike standard coins, each error has its own story. If a genuine copper 1983 penny is found, it would likely attract serious attention from collectors and auction houses. Its value could reach thousands, depending on condition and verification. But again, such finds are extremely rare. Most people will never encounter one, even after searching thousands of coins. The idea of hidden treasure in everyday change is powerful. It turns ordinary moments into potential discoveries. This is why stories about valuable coins spread so quickly. They tap into the universal desire for sudden fortune. However, the reality is more grounded. True value comes from rarity, authenticity, and collector demand, not wishful thinking. Still, there is nothing wrong with checking your coins. It's a simple, low-cost activity that can be both fun and educational. Even if you don't find a rare coin, you gain knowledge and appreciation for history and craftsmanship. The 1983 Lincoln Memorial penny stands as a reminder that small details matter. A difference of less than a gram can mean the difference between a common coin and a rare one. Collectors often say that patience is the key. Valuable coins are not found overnight, they are discovered through consistent effort. So if you have a 1983 penny, keep it, examine it, and learn from it. It may not change your life financially, but it can deepen your understanding of numismatics. In the end, the true value of such coins lies not just in money, but in the stories they carry and the curiosity they inspire. And while the dream of overnight fortune may be exaggerated, the excitement of the search is very real, and that alone makes the 1983 penny worth your attention. The next up top for the 1995 Lincoln Memorial penny is one of those coins that often gets overlooked in everyday change, yet it quietly holds a fascinating place in numismatic history. At first glance, it appears completely ordinary, just another copper-colored coin featuring Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But beneath that simplicity lies a story shaped by minting variations, collector demand, and the occasional rare error that can transform a common coin into something far more valuable than its face value. In 1995, millions upon millions of pennies were struck in the United States, making this coin widely available even today. Most of these coins were produced in Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver with a D mint mark. Because of such high production numbers, the average circulated 1995 penny, especially one that is worn, typically holds only minimal value, often just a few cents above its original worth. However, collectors are not just interested in common examples. What makes the 1995 penny exciting is the possibility of rare minting errors. These errors, though uncommon, are real and documented in coin collecting history. Among them, the most famous is the 1995 Double Die Obverse. This error occurs when the coin's design is stamped twice in slightly different positions, creating a visible doubling effect on the lettering, especially in the words Liberty and In God We Trust. When such an error appears clearly and strongly on a coin, it can dramatically increase its value. Even in circulated condition, a genuine 1995 double die penny can sell for dozens or even hundreds of dollars, depending on how visible the doubling is. In higher grades, where the coin is well preserved, the value can rise even further, making it one of the most sought-after modern pennies. But it is important to remain realistic. Not every 1995 penny is rare, and the majority are still common coins. Claims that every 1995 penny could make someone a millionaire overnight are exaggerated. True high-value coins depend on specific conditions, rarity, error type, and overall preservation. Without these factors, the coin remains a modest collectible rather than a life-changing treasure. The composition of the 1995 penny is also worth noting. By that time, U.S. pennies were no longer made primarily of solid copper. Instead, they consisted of a zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper. This gives the coin its familiar color while keeping production costs low. Because of this composition, worn coins may sometimes show a dull or slightly uneven surface where the copper layer has worn away. Collectors often examine coins carefully under magnification to identify potential errors or unique features. For the 1995 penny, the focus is usually on the front side, especially around the lettering and Lincoln's profile. Even a small variation can make a big difference in value, which is why careful inspection is essential. Condition plays a major role in determining worth. A heavily worn coin that has been in circulation for years will naturally be less valuable than one that has been preserved. Coins are graded on a scale, and even small differences in condition can significantly affect their price in the collector market. Another interesting aspect of the 1995 penny is its accessibility. Unlike rare coins that are nearly impossible to find, this penny can still be discovered in everyday circulation or old coin jars. This makes it especially appealing to beginner collectors who enjoy the thrill of searching for hidden treasures. The idea that a simple coin could change someone's fortune is part of what makes coin collecting so exciting. While it may not be common, there are real cases where rare coins have sold for impressive amounts. These stories inspire people to look more closely at the coins they might otherwise ignore. For those hoping to find a valuable 1995 penny, patience and knowledge are key. Understanding what to look for, such as doubling, unusual markings, or minting defects, can make all the difference. Without that knowledge, it is easy to overlook a potentially valuable piece. It is also important to avoid misinformation. Not every unusual-looking coin is valuable, and not every claim of a rare penny worth millions is accurate. The coin market is driven by evidence, authentication, and collector demand, not just speculation. Still, the possibility of discovering something rare adds a sense of adventure. Each coin carries a piece of history, and even the most common ones have traveled through countless hands and places over the years. The 1995 penny represents a moment in time, reflecting the minting practices and economic conditions of the mid-1990s. While it may not be ancient or extremely rare, it is still part of a larger story that connects collectors across generations. For serious collectors, authentication is crucial. If you believe you have found a double die or another rare error, having the coin examined by a professional grading service can confirm its authenticity and value. Even if your coin turns out to be common, the experience of searching and learning is valuable in itself. Coin collecting is not just about money, it is about curiosity, history, and discovery. The design of the Lincoln Memorial penny remained unchanged for decades, making it one of the most recognizable coins in the United States. This consistency also makes it easier to spot variations and errors when they occur. Over time, certain coins gain popularity due to collector interest, and the 1995 Double Die penny is a perfect example of this phenomenon. Its recognition has grown, making it a notable piece among modern U.S. coins. If you have a 1995 penny, it is always worth taking a closer look. Use good lighting, magnification, and a careful eye to inspect the details. You never know what you might find. While becoming a billionaire overnight from a single coin is highly unlikely, finding a valuable error coin is absolutely possible. The key is to approach coin collecting with both excitement and realism. In the end, the 1995 Lincoln Memorial penny is a reminder that even the smallest and most ordinary objects can hold hidden value. Whether that value is financial or historical depends on the coin itself and the person who discovers it. So before you spend that old penny, take a moment to examine it. It might just be another coin, or it might be something far more special waiting to be recognized. The next up, top 5. The 1985 Lincoln Memorial penny is a fascinating coin, but it's important to start with the truth. In normal circulated condition, it is not worth millions of dollars. However, there are rare exceptions, errors, and collector situations that can make certain examples surprisingly valuable. The coin belongs to the long-running Lincoln cent series that began in 1909, honoring President Abraham Lincoln. By 1985, the design still featured Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design introduced in 1959. Most 1985 pennies were made from a copper-plated zinc composition. This means they are not solid copper like pre-1982 pennies, even though they may appear copper in color. The D mint mark indicates the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. In 1985, billions of pennies were produced, making them extremely common in everyday circulation. Because of this high production, a typical worn 1985 D penny is usually worth only face value, just 1 cent. However, collectors are always searching for something unusual. That's where value begins to increase. One of the biggest factors in coin value is condition. Coins that are uncirculated or nearly perfect can be worth significantly more than worn examples. A worn coin with scratches, fatting, and damage will almost always remain very low in value. But if a 1985 D penny somehow survived in pristine condition, it could be worth a few dollars to a collector. The real excitement comes from mint errors. These are mistakes made during the coin's production process. For example, a double die error can cause the lettering or date to appear doubled. If clearly visible, this can increase value. Another rare error is an off-center strike where the coin design is not properly aligned. These coins attract collectors. There are also clipped planchet errors, where part of the coin is missing due to a manufacturing issue. A dramatic error can push a coin's value into tens or even hundreds of dollars. Still, reaching thousands or millions is extremely rare and usually involves historically famous coins, not common dates like 1985. Some people believe that a copper 1985 penny exists. In reality, nearly all were made of zinc with copper plating. If someone ever found a genuine 1985 penny struck on a leftover copper planchet, that would be extremely rare. Such a discovery would need professional authentication to confirm it is real. Without verification, many claims of rare copper pennies are misunderstandings or myths. Collectors also pay attention to luster. A coin that still shines brightly even after years is more desirable. The strike quality matters too. Sharp details in Lincoln's face and the memorial increase appeal. Grading companies like PCGS or NGC can officially grade coins, which helps determine value. A high-grade 1985 D penny in mint condition might sell for $5 to $20, sometimes more depending on quality. Error coins can range from $50 to several $100s if the error is strong and visible. But again, a circulated worn coin without errors is generally worth only 1 cent. The idea that such a coin can make someone a billionaire overnight is not realistic in the coin collecting world. However, coin collecting is still exciting because rare discoveries do happen occasionally. Many valuable coins were once found in everyday pocket change. That's why people continue to check their coins carefully. The history behind the Lincoln penny adds to its charm and popularity. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person instead of a symbolic figure. By 1985, it had already become one of the most recognized coins in the world. Collectors enjoy building complete sets of Lincoln cents by year and mint mark. Even common coins like the 1985 D play a role in completing those collections. Sometimes sentimental or historical value matters just as much as monetary value. A coin passed down through family can feel priceless regardless of its market price. If you believe you have a rare version, it's best to consult a professional coin dealer. Avoid selling coins quickly without understanding their true value. Many beginners make the mistake of assuming all old coins are valuable. In reality, rarity, condition, and demand determine price. The 1985 Lincoln penny is a reminder that not every coin is a hidden treasure, but some might be. Careful observation is the key to spotting something unusual. Learning about coins can turn a simple hobby into a lifelong passion. Even if your coin is not worth much, the knowledge you gain is valuable. And who knows, one day you might find a truly rare coin among ordinary ones. So while the 1985 D penny won't make you a billionaire overnight, it still holds a place in history and collecting. Its true power is not in millions of dollars, but in the curiosity and excitement it inspires. The next up, top 6, the 1971 Lincoln Memorial Penny, a small copper coin often overlooked in daily life, carries with it a quiet but fascinating history rooted in American coinage. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary 1-cent coin, especially in circulated and worn condition, but collectors and enthusiasts know that even common coins can hold hidden stories and surprising value. The 1971 issue, struck during a time of economic change in the United States, reflects both the artistry and industrial scale of modern minting. In 1971, pennies were still made primarily of copper, unlike later years when the composition shifted due to rising metal costs. This gives the coin a warm, rich tone that many collectors appreciate. The weight, feel, and even the sound of a copper penny differ from modern zinc coins, making it stand out to those who handle coins regularly. For many, this physical difference is the first clue that older coins may carry more than face value. The D mint mark on a 1971 penny indicates that it was struck at the Denver Mint. This mint produced a large number of coins that year, meaning most 1971 D pennies are common in circulation. However, within that large production there can be small variations, minting errors, or unusually well-preserved examples that increase a coin's desirability among collectors. When discussing the idea of a coin being worth millions, it is important to understand that such values are extremely rare and typically tied to unique circumstances. A standard 1971 D penny in worn condition is generally worth only a small amount above face value. However, certain error coins, such as those with double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual planchets, can become significantly more valuable depending on their rarity and condition. Collectors often search for what are known as double die varieties. These occur when the coin's design is accidentally stamped more than once in slightly different positions, creating a visible doubling effect on letters or numbers. If a 1971 D penny were to have a strong and clearly visible double die, it could be worth far more than an ordinary example, especially if authenticated and graded. Another factor that influences value is the coin's condition. Even though your focus is on circulated and worn coins, condition still plays a role. Coins are graded on a scale, and even slight differences in wear, scratches, or discoloration can affect value. A heavily worn coin may still hold interest if it has a rare error, but otherwise it will not command a high price. The idea that a 1971 penny could instantly make someone a billionaire overnight is more of a dramatic and imaginative claim than a realistic one. In real coin history, even the rarest pennies, such as certain error coins, have sold for thousands or sometimes tens of thousands of dollars, but not millions in typical cases for this specific year and type. That said, coin collecting is full of surprises. There have been instances where coins once thought ordinary turned out to be rare due to overlooked details. This is why experienced collectors carefully inspect every coin, looking for subtle differences in lettering, spacing, or metal composition. The copper composition of the 1971 penny is itself a point of interest. Each coin contains a significant percentage of copper, and while the metal value alone does not make it extremely valuable, it contributes to the coin's appeal. Some collectors specifically focus on pre-1982 copper pennies because of this composition. The historical context of 1971 also adds a layer of meaning. This was a period of economic transition in the United States, including changes in monetary policy. Coins from this era serve as small artifacts of that time, connecting everyday objects to larger historical events. For those hoping to find a valuable 1971 D penny, the key is patience and careful examination. Using a magnifying glass or coin loop can reveal details that are not visible to the naked eye. Looking closely at the date, the mint mark, and the lettering on the reverse can help identify unusual features. Authentication is another important step. If a coin appears unusual or potentially valuable, having it examined by a professional grading service can confirm its authenticity and condition. This adds credibility and can significantly impact its market value. The coin market is driven by demand as much as rarity. Even if a coin is technically rare, it must also be desirable to collectors to achieve a high price. Lincoln cents are widely collected, which increases the chances that rare varieties will attract attention. Stories about coins being worth millions often spread quickly because they capture the imagination. The idea that a simple penny could change someone's life is powerful, but it is important to separate myth from reality. Most coins, including the 1971 D penny, do not reach such extreme values. However, this does not mean the coin is without worth. For collectors, value is not only measured in money but also in history, curiosity, and the thrill of discovery. Finding an unusual coin in circulation can be exciting even if it is not worth a fortune. The design of the 1971 Lincoln penny also deserves appreciation. The obverse features Abraham Lincoln, one of the most recognized figures in American history, while the reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial. This design was used for many years and is iconic in its own right. Where patterns on circulated coins can tell their own story, each scratch or mark represents a journey through countless hands and transactions. In this way, even a worn coin carries a unique history that cannot be replicated. For beginners, the 1971 penny can be a good starting point for learning about coin collecting. It is common enough to be accessible but still offers opportunities to discover variations and errors. This balance makes it both educational and potentially rewarding. It is also worth noting that market values can change over time. What is considered common today may become more desirable in the future as fewer coins remain in circulation. Long-term collectors often think in terms of decades rather than immediate profit. The concept of hidden treasure in everyday coins continues to inspire people to check their change. While the chances of finding an extremely valuable coin are low, they are not zero. This possibility keeps the hobby alive and engaging. In the case of the 1971 D penny, the most realistic path to higher value is through identifying a genuine mint error or an exceptionally well-preserved specimen. Without these factors, the coin remains a modest but interesting piece of currency. Ultimately, the true power of such a coin lies not in guaranteed wealth but in the curiosity it sparks. It encourages people to look closer, learn more, and appreciate the details of objects they might otherwise ignore. The idea of becoming wealthy overnight from a single coin is more of a dream than a common reality, but dreams often lead people to explore new interests. Coin collecting has grown precisely because of these stories and the excitement they create. If you have a 1971 D penny, it is still worth examining carefully. Even if it does not turn out to be rare, the process of learning about it can be valuable in itself. Knowledge gained from one coin can be applied to many others. In conclusion, the 1971 Lincoln Memorial penny with a D mint mark is a genuine and historical coin with real significance, but its value depends on specific factors like condition and errors. While it is unlikely to be worth millions, it still holds the potential to surprise, educate, and inspire those who take the time to truly look at it.